Welcome back to Frankly Franklin. Today we are here with City Manager Jonathan Westendorf, and we are going to geek out about government.
Government geek, that's what I'm all about.
Well, I'm glad because I have a lot of questions, and I think the community does too. I think that, as I was just talking to some people, some things that are done in government are made intentionally hard, like millage.
Yeah.
You know, how do you figure out your millage for levies? I mean, why do they do this to us as consumers? They make it as hard as possible. So I just want to ask you a bunch of questions. For anybody who wants to know how your government works, you're going to answer some of this. You actually have a fairly significant degree in this stuff, if I am correct.
Yeah.
Brag a little about yourself for a minute. Do you mind?
I ended up with several degrees in this world. I do have a Bachelor of Science in Fire Administration through Bowling Green. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, I decided that would be a really good idea to continue on, and ended up getting a Master's of Public Administration through University of Southern California. The most difficult and challenging experience in my entire professional and educational career. But it is also the most rewarding because I ended up finding out how difficult this work is and ultimately making connections with people who are doing this exact type of work worldwide, literally. And so from that, I have just really found an opportunity to take education with practical experience and tie those together in a way that most communities don't do. Usually you have all experience or all education, but I think we have a pretty nice mixture of how we can get these two important aspects, real world life, real work, real world application, put together collectively with our folks who are doing so in a way that is educationally and research backed.
Yes.
So that we are efficient and we have some good understanding of what we're doing, why we're doing it, how to do it, so that our residents receive the benefit of that.
I think that's pretty unique for a city manager to have that experience, especially from USC, where you get a lot of people from, like you said, around the world who are doing things. And some of the stories that you've told me, I was like, wow, that experience, just hearing different viewpoints and how different people do things. It's like travel, right?
Yes.
It's so valuable. It brings such a different aspect to the community. So we're glad that you're a government geek, and we're glad that you're going to answer some of these questions for us.
I'm going to do my best.
So if we just started out with, how does government work? I mean, that's a pretty big question, right? So I guess we'll break it down a little bit: local, regional, state, and federal, right? Let's start with the fact that there's 4 different levels of government.
Sure.
So tell me a little bit about those, and how would you, in that, public service brain, how would you explain that to the standard old person who doesn't even understand millage for levies?
Yeah. I think what's somewhat remarkable is government does work. It actually does work. It can work. It is a participative sport, though. It is not something that you should just be sitting on the sideline on. I think that it is something that is extremely important to be aware about.
Okay.
You need to pay attention because we can provide information. We can share, put out surveys. We can do all of those things. But unless people are responding and giving us information back, we don't have anything to act upon.
Right.
So,
and that's true at all levels.
It's true at absolutely every level.
Especially the local level.
Especially at the local level.
You're so accessible.
100%. And all of those decisions have real world impact to your daily life. This isn't something at the state or the federal level.
Right.
These are local dollars. These are local decisions. These are local events.
It's your main street. It's your fire station, your police, your
100%.
events, your lights, your water, your electricity. I mean, it's that kind of stuff.
It is. It is every single day. And it can be mundane or boring, or it can be really exciting. And I think one of the things, and I said this in an earlier episode, one of the things that I believe is so wonderful about the local level of government, which I think is the best local level, is the idea that you can show up to a council meeting or make a phone call or send an email and have results immediately take place. I value that feedback. It is really important to me that we get good information because we don't have all of the answers. We do our best.
You don't have all the answers?
We don't.
I
believe it or not. I know this is breaking news.
Is that what you go to council for and the mayor?
Yeah.
We go to get the answers there?
It's not. But I do have a lot of experience. I do have 25 years of attending virtually every single council meeting, all of the public listening town halls and all the staff meetings and all of that experience.
Well, and on that note, let's back up for just a second. Let's explain Franklin's government. What? I mean, you're a city manager. We've got a mayor. We've got council. We've got what? How does that all work? What's the who?
So Franklin, it's a great question.
Yeah, let's start with Franklin.
So Franklin is a council manager form of government.
Okay.
So our residents elect 7 council members, 7 council members that are popularly elected. Every 2 years, there's a election cycle, 4 on one cycle and then 3 on the following.
Right.
And from there, the council elects their mayor. Their mayor has no special authority or responsibility. Poor guy doesn't even have his own reserved parking spot in the parking lot. But what they do is that they are the ones that will lead the meeting. There's a mayor, there's a vice mayor. Brent Centers is our mayor. Todd Hall is our vice mayor currently.
And the rest of your council members are, shall we?
Council members. So you've got Denny Centers, Michael Aldridge, Matt Wiltshire, Paul Rupert, and Debbie Fouts.
Yes.
So those individuals are elected to lead the council, and they provide staff policy decision.
Okay.
Ultimately, there are 4 people that report directly to city council.
All right.
Myself as the city manager. Our finance director is hired by and directly reports to.
I bet that's surprising for people to know that they don't report to you. They actually report directly to council.
Correct. And the reason is because there needs to be separation of.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Checks and balances.
Ultimately, our clerk of council is also hired directly by council, and then our law director, and that's Christy Dunn.
Yep.
And then our law director, which is Ben Yoder and Bricker Graydon. It's a firm that provides those services for us. Ultimately, that is how council manages. And then my responsibility is to lead all of the staff. Now, on a day-to-day basis, Christy and Jenna Trice, our finance director, work very closely with me, obviously.
Well, Christy has other responsibilities as well.
Correct.
For the city of Franklin.
100%.
So,
She does all the public records requests. She provides the minutes and all of those kinds of things.
Social media. I mean, she's kind of she does a lot here.
Everything.
Yeah, she really does.
Literally does everything.
Yeah, she does a lot here.
So, I mean, from that aspect, that is how the day-to-day happens.
Okay.
Ultimately, there are directors. So there's a safety director, personnel director. I'm currently filling both of those roles. I think people would be very surprised to realize how lean and mean this city actually is.
You are.
A city of our size with the services that we provide, we probably have literally half the amount of staff that other communities our size do.
Well, they have twice the size heart.
And that's very true.
So.
And that's very honest, right? Because
it is.
everybody here is wearing multiple hats. It's the only way anything gets done.
Yep.
And not only are they wearing multiple hats, but they do so in a way that they compassionately care and are dedicated to what we are doing, which is serving our community. Right. And so all of those things come into play. So we have a police chief, we have a fire chief, I have a public works director who is in charge of streets, stormwater, water treatment. He is a part of the board for wastewater treatment. I don't think people realize really everything that we do. We are leading a $50 million a year operation here in the city of Franklin. And we do so very well. We do so intentionally. We take advantage of every single grant opportunity that exists out there, which is in itself its own struggle and challenges. You just don't ask for money and get it. You have to see it through, and there's a lot of hoops and regulations. But But yeah, the reality is that that's just the municipal level of government at a very, very high level. What people don't recognize is that the school board, at least most people don't realize, the school board is a completely separate entity.
So many people think that the city runs the schools as well.
100%.
That's very... It just seems like something that people don't recognize.
Correct.
And it's a separate board.
And it is.
A separate elected board, is it not?
It's a separate elected board. They have their own elections. They have their own jurisdiction.
Yes.
So the people that vote for that are not constrained to our city. They're actually voting from the school district, which goes well beyond just the city of Franklin.
Right. And you guys just rely on coordination with them, right? You have no say in school business.
No,
they don't have any say in city business.
Correct.
So this is a matter of how do we cooperate? How do we work together?
Correct. Any and all opportunities to work together, we take advantage of.
And that includes funding.
Correct.
And other sources. Just want to make sure that there's a separation of powers there, and that separation is a straight line.
It is a very bright line of what dollars can be spent for, what dollars can't be spent for.
Okay.
Now that doesn't mean that we can't and that we aren't creative and work together often.
Oh yeah.
We really do.
Right.
But the reality is that they are two separate entities.
Okay. So the elected officials in Franklin are city council.
Yep.
And the school board.
And the school board. And actually, to even make things even more complicated, we, the city of Franklin, are a part of Franklin Township. So our residents actually vote for Franklin Township trustees.
Okay.
So layer in all around Franklin Township within the incorporated portion of the city of Franklin, the incorporated portion of the city of Carlisle, and the unincorporated portions of Franklin Township. They all elect representatives for the Franklin Township trustees and the Franklin Township fiscal officer.
Right.
So as a result, our residents are actually paying property tax that goes to fund and operate Franklin Township.
Okay.
So it does get confusing. And
it's a little complex.
It is. And I understand why people don't necessarily understand where to direct their question or their ire to.
Right.
But that's why we make ourselves available and we do the best we can to direct them.
So when do you call the city of Franklin versus the township? I mean, is it truly like, here's the line?
Yeah.
And the township is this and the city is that?
So in the city of Franklin, nearly always start with the city of Franklin. If you are a true city of Franklin resident within the incorporated portion of Franklin Township, if you are a city of Franklin resident, always start here.
Okay.
There are very few reasons why you would ever need to flip over to the Franklin Township side of the world. If they exist, we can certainly handle that either for them or direct them appropriately. But for the most part, the city of Franklin is a standalone entity, but we do have that relationship with Franklin Township.
Okay, so now, adding to the complication, I think I said in the beginning, this is complicated, and there's a reason we need to talk about it. So we've got our local government, we've got our that's like almost a regional government, but there's also special districts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's add another layer on top of that exists within Franklin and the township.
Absolutely.
Tell me about those.
Yeah.
And what do they mean?
Yeah. So special districts, that comes into things with, for example, the library. So the library is a special district. Now, residents don't vote for library board members. They're actually appointed by the school board.
Oh, all right.
Because we have our library system is based off of the school board.
Okay.
So the school board will make those appointments. But the taxing district is voted by the library district, and that necessarily doesn't align with the school board district. And I mean, it's just, it is complicated. But again, when any of those situations come up, again, just give us a phone call if need be, and we can direct you to the right place.
Sure. All right. So let's keep going with some of the elected officials.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned police chief, you mentioned the fire chief, but then there's also the sheriff, and there's also county commissioners, which we mentioned, the auditor. I mean, all right, where do all those people start falling? Because now we're getting a little more regional, right?
Correct.
So we're getting into the regional. We've gone from local to regional, but
and those areas fall under the county jurisdiction.
Okay,
so
now
Warren County itself,
okay,
right?
So now we're moving on to Warren County.
Next higher level, right?
Okay.
So you've got county commissioners, you have the sheriff's office, which the sheriff is responsible for basically all of the townships. And he provides coverage for the county as a whole. And there's a lot of overlap between that and state routes and those kinds of things. But ultimately, there's a close working relationship between our police chief and the sheriff's department. Our police department participates in the Warren County Drug Task Force and cooperative technical rescue teams and tactical teams. There's a lot of shared resources that come together in Warren County because we all work very closely together with one another.
Sure.
None of us can do this on our own.
Well, of course. I do have a fun fact for you. I am going to tax your brain here.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah, we're gonna see if you are the encyclopedia of all things public knowledge.
Okay.
All right. Who is the highest ranking
Coroner.
Darn it. He knew it. How did you know that? Who is the highest ranking official if something were to happen in the county?
Yeah.
The highest ranking official is the coroner. Don't you think that's surprising? Like, who knew that
fact.
Other than you?
Well,
of course you knew it. Darn it.
It's a great way to win a bar bet.
I had one on you. Oh, and I have won plenty on that one too. There's lots of ways. All right, back to the other stuff. That was fun though for a second. Okay, so county commissioners, they're elected. They're elected for Warren County. What do they do?
Correct.
We've already got a mayor. We've already got township. We've got the township trustees. Now we have county commissioners.
County commissioners, right.
What do they do and how do they overlap in Franklin? What do they mean to Franklin?
So they not directly because we are a separate entity.
Sure.
But there are partnerships, right?
All right?
And everything that happens with economic development, everything that happens with regional tourism, all of those things all blend together. Again, the city of Franklin cannot possibly supply all of those services.
Right.
The dog warden, all of those kinds of things, right? So those county level services all come in and we work cooperatively with them.
Okay. So then when would a sheriff get involved in Franklin over the police chief or police in general? How does that work? What's the sheriff do?
So generally not so much directly because the sheriff is responsible for the unincorporated portions.
Oh, okay.
But the expertise is there and available.
Okay.
So if we have an example, say we have the Technical Response Unit, the TRU, which a lot of people kind of refer to as a SWAT team. But if we need those resources,
I see.
Those shared resources come together because that's not something the city of Franklin could or should do on our own.
Sure.
But we can work cooperatively. And basically what ends up happening is we have an expert level service because all of the entities participate and they are competitively chosen. So we have a handful of people from us in other jurisdictions, and everybody comes together, and that means that you have some of the brightest brains, some of the highest trained individuals, education, physical fitness, all of those things together that we would not be able to do within our own jurisdiction.
Sure. Okay. So now let's talk about something super popular at the moment, and you can explain how it works. The auditor.
Yeah.
The auditor and property taxes. I mean, everybody's talking about it this year because of things that have happened in the entire state.
Correct.
But how is that, again, separate from Franklin? You guys aren't determining the property taxes.
No, we don't.
But how does that auditor and the property tax, what does the auditor do? How does that affect people in Franklin? And why is it separate from what you're doing?
Yeah. So Franklin, the city, we are involved with municipal income tax. We're involved with municipal corporate tax. We are not involved with the property tax in any way, shape, or form. We have to abide by those same regulations and decisions that are put out. Matt Nolan is our auditor, a wonderful, wonderful guy. He is literally one of the experts, one of really three leaders in the state.
Wow.
So he is on the forefront of fighting for our residents. He understands and is challenged by the reappraisal that we just all went through, like everybody else.
In the entire state.
Within the entire state. Not just
Warren County. This is a statewide.
100%. And unfortunately, it's just our turn, right? It cycles through every 3 and 6 years. And the reality is that some of the history with COVID and the property sales and transfers and things like that have happened are simply undeniable facts. When you are logging through the recorder's office, property sale transfers at specific prices.
Yep.
And you have other individuals coming into our market because our homes were very affordable and low price compared to others.
And they still are.
They still are. That is the reality.
Up, but they still are because everybody's went up.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
And they are bound by law and ethics, just like all of us in our professional roles are. So that becomes an undeniable fact, right? And so ultimately, we have to work our way through this process.
Right.
And it's unfortunate because it's painful.
Right.
But
it was time.
But it is time.
It was time.
And the reality is those dollars do fund services that are critical to everybody's health, welfare, safety. That is the reality of the situation.
Yes.
Stay tuned next week for part 2 of Government Geek as we break down state and federal responsibilities.